Have you followed the Mark Robinson story? Oh my, oh my. Um, there's a lot here. There's a lot to unpack with the Mark Robinson story.
Breaking news tonight, Senate Republicans turning on Mark Robinson in North Carolina in light of K-Files investigation into Robinson's history of disgusting and offensive posts that he made on a porn website. Here's some of what GOP senators told CNN today.
If you're not wrong, he's toast. If he can't credibly rebut these accusations, he's a zombie.
Of course, he should step aside. Outrageous, disgusting, vile, and his efforts to say it wasn't him need to show a good deal more substance than just saying it's not me.
Turns out Mark Robinson has been based long before he ever thought about running for North Carolina governor. CNN dug up his mini-soldier persona from some shady adult message board where he dropped bombshells about his Hitler admiration, pro-slavery views, and anti-black positions that would make any normie choke on their coffee. Honestly, it just made him more interesting. The corporate media is freaking out. Well, that just means Robinson is hitting all the right nerves. Between 2008 and 2012, Robinson allegedly lurked around on a website called Nude Africa. The name is exactly as it sounds. Nude Africa describes itself as an online community of people from around the world that chat and share personal information about their interest in black sexual topics. But Robinson wasn't just browsing for entertainment. He was actively discussing politics while participating on the site. For a cool $24.95 for 30 days and just $19.95 each month after, users gain access to the community and content. Pretty sure the site's founder owes Robinson a thank you card for all the free publicity he's been giving them.
Thank you for calling.
Remember when National Geographic was the go-to for a young boy's exploration of global culture? Pages filled with images of indigenous people, where the cultural studies just happened to focus on bare-chested tribeswomen. Well, fast forward a few decades, and now the modern man doesn't need to flip through those innocent glossy pages when he can log on to something a little more interactive. Let's just say less about geography and a whole lot more about anatomy. This all happened 12 to 16 years ago when Robinson wasn't some naive teenager. He was well into his 40s. The account attributed to him declared him a black Nazi, which raised eyebrows, especially considering his identity as a black man. He allegedly expressed admiration for Adolf Hitler, saying that he would take Hitler over the Obama administration any day, stating, "I'd take Hitler over any of the shit in Washington right now." On top of that, Robinson reportedly made bold statements about slavery, claiming that some people need to be slaves, and that he would certainly buy a few if slavery were reinstated.
It even goes beyond that. Another disturbing post, Robinson defended slavery, writing, quote, "Slavery is not that bad, and I wish they would bring back slavery. I would certainly buy a few." He also...
I love the end where he's like, you know what? It wasn't as bad as you might think. As long as I can buy a few, and not me shackled. So if you get shackled, it's not as fun, not as good. But if you can buy a couple, that's not me. I'm reporting what he said. I'm not Mini Solder. Some people might think I'm Mini Solder. I'm not Mini Solder. That's Mark Robinson. He said it wasn't that bad. 90 to 95% of them. He sounds like me, but on steroids. He's going a little far. He's going a little too far. I'm not gonna say slavery was good, because it's easy to say slavery was good as long as you're not the one getting whipped because you didn't pick the cotton fast enough. If you're in the house, it's a better position to be in, but you can still get whipped. So even if you're a house nigga, that's not a good situation. 2024 is wild. Mark Robinson, allegedly, is to the right of me. I'm looking at him like, nigga, you wild right now. These unapologetic comments are shaking up the North Carolina governor's race, and this may actually be the real Mark Robinson being revealed. What started as damaging headlines soon led to deeper cracks within his campaign team, revealing the true toll of the scandal. It seems like his top staffers, those closest to him, are making their opinions clear without saying a word. I believe that they believe it was him. The timing of their mass exodus couldn't be more telling. Key figures have jumped ship. starting with Chris Rodriguez, Robinson's campaign manager, followed closely by Heather Willier, the finance director, and Jason Risk, the deputy campaign manager. And let's not forget Konrad Pogorzelski III, a general consultant and senior advisor who's probably already brushing off his resume. These aren't just any staffers. They're the backbone of his campaign, the people who should be fighting to keep the ship afloat. But that's not all. Behind the scenes, more resignations keep trickling in. Patrick Riley, the director of operations, took his leave, as did John Contoulas, the political director. Even Jackson Laurer, another political director, couldn't stick around. The campaign's skeleton crew is now down to just 2 spokesmen and a bodyguard, which is as close to a political death sentence as it gets. 2 spokesmen and a bodyguard might not seem like much, but for now, these are the people who stood firm while the rest bailed. It's easy to support someone when the sun's shining, but real loyalty sticks around when the storm hits hardest. Robinson has denied everything, stating, "The things that you will see in that story, those are not the words of Mark Robinson." He blames his Democratic opponent, Josh Stein, for leaking the story to CNN in an attempt to derail his campaign. It's a classic political move: deny, deflect, and blame the other side. But the facts don't look great for him. The timing of this scandal is even more brutal because it hit right after the deadline for candidates to withdraw from the race. Robinson's stuck, and no amount of denial will get him out of this mess. This didn't just happen after the deadline. They knew exactly when to pull the trigger. Robinson's stuck now, and it's because they set the trap perfectly.
Who was they, though?
Robinson not only denied the accusations, but also claimed that artificial intelligence may have been used to generate or manipulate the comments attributed to him. He referred to the allegations as salacious tabloid lies. Sure, blame AI, because who wouldn't rather shift the blame than admit you were on the hunt for the Black Daisy Taylor?
No, I have a huge
Daisy. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Robinson's interests go well beyond typical political circles and allegedly dive into a fascination with Nazi-era soldiers and war memorabilia. His username, Mini Soldier, isn't just a random screen name. It reportedly ties directly to his hobby of collecting miniature Nazi soldiers, along with model trains and planes from the World War II era. CNN connected the username to Robinson using personal details such as his age, military service, and email address, painting a picture of who was behind the posts. But that's just scratching the surface. Robinson's comments extend beyond history lessons into more intimate revelations. Allegedly, Robinson recounted a story from when he was a 14-year-old teenager where he reportedly spied on women showering at a public gym. In his words, he found a way to peep through a vent and continued fantasizing about the experience well into adulthood. He added some rather graphic details to make sure everyone knew how much of an impression that incident left on him. "I came to a spot that was a dead end but had 2 big vent covers over it. It just so happened it overlooked the showers. I sat there for about an hour and watched as several girls came in and showered," Robinson wrote on Nude Africa. "I went peeping again the next morning," Robinson wrote. "But after that, I went back, the ladder was locked. So those 2 times were the only times I got to do it." Ah, memories. And there's more. Robinson reportedly made strong remarks about transgender adult content. Paraphrasing, "I like watching Transformer on girl content. It's hot. It's like taking the man out while leaving the man in." Now, whether that makes sense to everyone or not is beside the point. Preferences are preferences, right? Robinson also took aim at Martin Luther King Jr. on several occasions. In one post, he called for removing King's Memorial from the National Mall, saying, "Get that commie bastard off the National Mall." He didn't stop there, though. In another post, he reportedly referred to King as Martin Lucifer Coon, adding that if he were in the KKK, that's what he would have called King. Robinson called King worse than a maggot and a phony huckster several times, making it clear he had no love for the civil rights leader. And then Trump came along and called Robinson Martin Luther King on steroids. Maybe Trump was onto something, just not in the way he meant it. It doesn't stop there. Robinson's past comments reveal even more layers to his controversial behavior. In one post, he allegedly fantasized about having an affair with his wife's sister. adding another unusual twist to the growing list of concerns. Beyond that, rumors have surfaced about his time spent at a local adult video store. According to reports, Robinson would visit the shop up to 5 times a week, sometimes bringing entire pizzas to settle in for extended sessions of watching adult films. The store's owner, an old friend whom Robinson had previously acknowledged in a Twitter post, reportedly claimed that Robinson also ran up unpaid debts at the establishment. And thus, the legend of the Black Blob was born, fueled by greasy pizza, adult videos, and a heavy dose of regret. By the look of him, he's still on the pizza and prawn diet. Someone get this man before his next deep dish session at the local prawn shop. Has he really never heard of Ozempic? Even Lizzo's on Ozempic working out. Who knows, Black Blob could come back looking like a skinny Al Sharpton, and the scandal would disappear with his waistline. In the latest developments, it's clear the scandal is taking a toll on Robinson's campaign. He was notably absent from a Donald Trump rally held in Wilmington, North Carolina on September 21st, 2024. Trump, who had endorsed Robinson for governor, made no mention of the scandal or Robinson at all during the rally. It's almost like Trump's already attending Robinson's political funeral. Might as well bring flowers. The silence from Trump raises questions about how committed he really is to backing Robinson. It's kind of reminiscent of when Trump faced his own scandal during the Access Hollywood tape fiasco. Back then, Trump went on the offensive with the help of Steve Bannon, who knew how to fight. Robinson should have learned a thing or two from that moment, own it, and stay aggressive. No apologies, no backing down. And let's be real, Trump's probably thankful that this isn't another hot mic moment on a bus, catching him saying something as crazy as grabbing them by the, Robinson's campaign isn't fully retreating. On September 21st, he went ahead with his meet and greet at the Fayetteville Motor Speedway, showing he's determined to push forward despite the ongoing scandal. During the event, Robinson didn't directly address the accusations, but dismissed them as garbage and trash, meant to distract from his message. The turnout at the event showed he still has loyal supporters standing by him. Meanwhile, posts linked to Robinson were reportedly removed from Nude Africa on September 20th, just hours after the scandal broke. Scrubbing those posts won't make the controversy disappear, but it's clear Robinson isn't backing down anytime soon. It looks like someone tried to pull an Usher in Pink. They scrubbed the minister post like it's 1995, and no one knows what a screenshot is. What they really should have done is flood the internet with fake ones. He should have tried to bury the truth under a mountain of lies like a skilled Nancy Pelosi-type politician would. Public response has been heated, with growing calls from some Republicans, like Senator Tom Tillis, urging Robinson to either step down or explain the situation more clearly. But really, how's he supposed to explain hanging out on a site full of explicit material? I can already picture Robinson trying to spin it. Look, I can't even reminisce about sneaking peeks at a gym shower without someone calling me a creep. So there I was, just minding my business, collecting Nazi figurines like any red-blooded patriot. Meanwhile, Senator J.D. Vance avoided fully supporting or condemning Robinson, saying allegations aren't necessarily reality, and adding that it's up to Robinson in North Carolina to decide whether he stays in the race. Vance carefully balanced his stance by saying, I don't believe him. I just think you have to allow these situations to unfold in the court of public opinion. J.D. Vance really nailed the art of saying absolutely nothing while using a lot of words. His I don't believe him line was the verbal equivalent of a Michael Jackson moonwalk, moving backward while pretending to go forward. He sounded more confident buying donuts during that infamous campaign stop. Just whatever makes sense. What's even more tragic in all this is that Robinson could have leaned into this scandal. Back then, his comments were bold and honestly closer to where many on the nationalist side of things stand. If he had just owned it, if he had talked about his journey, admitted to some of his past beliefs, and slowly leaned into it, he might have had a fighting chance. But instead, he's gone the wholesome route, and now it's biting him in the ass. Going the wholesome route in politics is like dressing up for your own execution. Sure, you look good, but the ending's the same. Here's the reality. Robinson was already struggling in the polls before this scandal broke. Polling showed him trailing his Democratic opponent Josh Stein by a wide margin, with Stein consistently leading by 10 to 13 points. And while I don't believe in polls, the vibe was clear. Robinson was in trouble long before the allegations surfaced. He's going to lose this race no matter what he does now. The scandal just sealed the deal. In 2 weeks, the public will be on to the next scandal that helps them feel morally superior. Give it time. Ultimately, this scandal isn't just about some bold comments on a sleaze pit forum. It's about a politician who spent his career pretending to be something he's not. Now, the truth is out, and it's probably too late for him to recover. But if he had just owned it from the start, if he had leaned into his real beliefs, this could have played out very differently. Either way, he's done in politics, whether he likes it or not. And if he loses, Robinson isn't just out of the governor's race, he's out of the circles that gave him a platform in the first place. The establishment only lets you in if you're a potential winner. Once you've lost that shine, they'll toss you out faster than you can say political funeral. He might have been able to go full black Yahtzee if he leaned into it slowly. But now, after going the wholesome route for so long, it's hard to imagine him flipping the switch without looking like a complete fraud. And let's not forget that in the end, this scandal highlights the bigger issue, the clash between the values of the American nationalist side and the modern voter base. Robinson's real problem is the demographic breakdown of voters who just don't align with where he stands, and that's not something he can fix with a few speeches or appearances at a motor speedway. It's deeper than that, and at this point, the damage might be irreparable.
Middle MAGA.